you for joining me. It's Matt with MDH Technologies. Now, it's been a little bit since I've done a video, and I hope to do a few more very soon in the coming weeks and months. But today, I was really motivated to do one because of a barrage of telemarketing calls that I have been getting about using outsourced IT services from specifically India in this case. Well, I wanted to share my thoughts on that, and I also wanted to issue a warning to all of those who are thinking about either outsourcing their IT to overseas companies or using IT people or companies that are using those overseas services. So whether you do it directly or whether you hire somebody that's basically farming out overseas, it's the same type of dynamic there. So, couple of quick things. The purpose of the video here is to really get you to think about what you're doing when you outsource your IT overseas. Okay. First of all, you as well as your IT person has very limited legal reach overseas. Okay, and because IT folks have access to basically everything, you really need to give pause and think about that. Okay, you're giving access to somebody or to a group of people and have very limited legal recourse. That's a dangerous situation already. Secondly, if you think you're saving money by outsourcing to India, for example, chances are you're not, because the individual that you hire for your IT, if you're outsourcing, in other words, the IT guy or the IT company that you're hiring that's using these overseas people, is still going to charge you upwards of $100 an hour, even though they may only be paying those folks 15 or 20 or whatever the going rate is. So you're not really saving money. And just as a side note here, MDH Technologies has never outsourced, and we have always been able to compete and still charge roughly half of the national average. So ask yourself, why are these other IT companies using these overseas sources? Well, one, they probably have a very inefficient business model. Two, greed may have something to do with it, but I'm not trying to accuse every IT person of being greedy, but certainly that is a motivating factor in a lot of the financial type of decisions that people make. Now, as business people, we all need to turn a profit, and there's nothing wrong with that. But certainly, we're not going to turn a profit by putting our customers at risk. That is just morally wrong. So something else I wanted to mention, whenever you outsource to overseas, you will never have a personal relationship with those folks. You're never really going to know who they are. And for some people, that may not be a big deal, but for others, that's a deal breaker. Now, many times these facilities overseas that these call centers or what have you, there's several people there. It could be 100, could be more, who knows. But what you're dealing with is a large group of people, and they're all going to have their hand in your cookie jar, so to speak. And sort of like the more people you have working on the same network increases the possibility of misunderstanding and misconfiguration. Different people may do different things different ways at different times, and it can just cause some real incongruencies in the way that your network and your systems are administered. So that's something to think about too. Now, I'm not saying smaller is necessarily better. I'm just saying with these large places that likely have a lot of turnover, that increases the possibility that there's going to be some incongruencies and some misconfigurations, especially as your servers and your systems age. So that is definitely something to think about. Now, the last and probably the most important thing that I wanted to mention here is that what are you really doing when you outsource overseas, or when you allow your IT person to outsource overseas? What are you really doing? Well, essentially, you're taking high-paying, high-technical jobs out of the United States and giving them to someone else. Now, I really don't see how that would help the United States. I don't see how that would help our economy. And I think most business owners will understand that most of us don't go into business just to make a profit. Well, it may start off that way, but over time, most of us come to see that creating jobs for people is a good thing, and it makes you feel good when you can grow your business and create a job for somebody. And I just think that outsourcing your IT and taking jobs, good jobs, away out of the U.S. It's just bad all around. I mean, it doesn't matter what country we're sending to. It's not a racial thing. It's an economic thing. It's just not in the best interest. So if I would urge you to think about it, because if you're not really saving money by doing that, and you're only increasing your risk, there's really no inherent benefit. So I challenge you today, figure out if your IT person is outsourcing any aspect of their IT overseas, and if so, find out why. Find out, does it actually benefit you, or does it just hurt everyone? So a lot of this is also being done covertly. So while they may have a few staff here in the United States, those are likely simply salespeople, and calls are being routed from here to overseas, or there is a layer there to make it look like the company is essentially here in the U.S. And I have met many outsourced IT guys, many managed service providers that just simply lie to their customers, unfortunately, to cover up the fact that they're outsourcing. So if you have any question about who's actually doing your IT work, I would suggest that you have a conversation with your IT person and you find out, are they outsourcing any aspect of their IT? Because once again, if it's not benefiting you in any way, and it's just increasing your risk, and it's bad for the economy, it's bad for everyone, why do it? Thank you for joining me for my rant today on overseas outsourcing. I greatly appreciate your time, and I hope that you'll come back and watch some of my future videos. Thank you.